All right, what's up, everybody? This week we got another awesome guest with us. We got Cam Brown of Integrity Nutrition Coaching with us. Me and Cam are in the same mentorship, and she absolutely crushes it on the business side. So I have no doubt she crushes it on the nutritional side and the coaching side. So she's going to have tons of great stuff to give you guys as we go through this podcast. Also, fun fact, she is the owner of Freshly Fueled in Charleston, South Carolina. So if you guys are in the area, definitely give it a look up. And yeah, she's gone through her own fitness journey and everything like that. So we're going to dive in a little bit, but before we do, welcome Cam.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Awesome. Very excited to have you. So I know you've been through one hell of a transformation yourself and kind of laid the frameworks for what you do. But before we get into that, I'm curious, like I like starting every guest with what really got you into fitness? What was the thing that got you to be like, I want to lift some weights and eat better?
Yeah. So I actually started pretty much my whole life. I was a college athlete at University of Florida. I played lacrosse. After I graduated, I have a degree in nutritional science. So I was very like fitness and food minded. I took a little break after college and kind of like went and worked in restaurants and was a bartender. I actually helped my friend open a brewery in Asheville called Wicked Weed, which was later bought by Budweiser. And then I kind of realized that food and bev was cool and like what I was doing was fun, but I really missed the actual like activity, sports, nutrition side of it. So then I went back that route, became a personal trainer for a little while. I was a head coach at an Orange Theory. It was actually the busiest one in the country. So it was a fun one to coach at, but then I really became, that's where I became so kind of hell-bent on how women need to actually fuel themselves and lift weights instead of just kind of being cardio bunnies, which I used to be too. And that kind of just fueled my passion and launched me back into this space.
Awesome. Awesome. I cannot wait to talk more about that because I know the cardio bunny train is easy to fall into. So let's talk about like what got you back in the game. Like I know that when I was reading up a little bit, like you took a little bit of a break and then you kind of got back into it. Like what was the thing that like moment where it's like, yeah, I got to get back into nutrition and coaching?
To be 100% honest, it was when my husband and well, we found out I was pregnant. I went through the pregnancy. When I got pregnant, that was in my fun era, I call it, my food and bev era. So I was bartending. We weren't really working out regularly for the first time in my life. I mean, I had done it all the way through college, very regimented, why I got a college scholarship for lacrosse. Kind of left that side, found out I was pregnant. During my pregnancy, like I gained 70 pounds, a little over 70 pounds. The heaviest I've ever been in my life. I didn't recognize myself. I hated myself. I gave birth to Rowan and she came out and was like 7 pounds and a couple ounces. And I was like, wait, what about the rest of this? And that's kind of what launched me back into the fitness industry. I was like, I have got to change my lifestyle. I was really unhappy. To be honest, I was like probably a really terrible wife and picking fights with Corey all the time because I hated myself. So I actually got a job at a gym. This was actually a burn boot camp before Orange Theory because they let me bring Rowan into the childcare. So that's how I started personal training again. Then as soon as she was old enough for real daycare, I moved to Orange Theory. And then while I was at Orange Theory, I started realizing that we always were running these challenges and we never talked about nutrition. And that's where my degree is rooted in. And I've always been very nutrition minded. So a lot of the members would always ask me about nutrition, which led to us starting Freshly Fueled, which was our meal prep company here in Charleston. It won Best Meal Prep 2 years in a row. We actually retired it. We sold it to a different company recently. But yeah, so that's kind of how I launched myself back into it.
Very nice. Very nice. And when you talk about the 70-pound increase, I know this is definitely a common theme because I know I work with moms that are in their 40s, 50s, and they're like, it never really went away. Like it's easy to put it on, but taking it off, that's a whole other animal. Were there any like specific behaviors you fell into that you really had to like work against to fix the trajectory of where you were going?
Yeah, the first year of my postpartum journey was pretty much hell on me, on my body, on my mental state, because I fell into all of the diets that everybody tries to fall into. I had tried a bunch of things. I was working out like 6, 7 times a week, high intensity group fitness, not strength training, adding in like spin classes before I did group fitness, thinking that would help. I was super restricted in my calorie intake. So I was always starving. So I would be able to maintain it for a couple days and it would be going
Mhm.
great for like 3 or 4 days. And then I would binge and fall off and then feel more like a failure and be just like there was something wrong with me. Like, why couldn't I do it? I actually have a story I tell a lot of my clients. I call it my sweet potato moment. I remember I was on this crazy diet, like insane. I was probably eating like 40 grams of carbs a day, and I was super active. And I got home from one of my workouts, and all my meals were like 10 grams of carbs is really hard. Okay. Like, I don't recommend trying it, but if you ever try it, everything pretty much has carbs besides like protein. So I was like staring at this plate of meat and I was just like feeling so defeated, hadn't been seeing any results, was working my ass off. And I was like sitting at my kitchen table and I looked over and there were sweet potatoes on my counter. And I love sweet potatoes. I've loved sweet potatoes my whole life. I have them for breakfast, make them mashed, make them baked. However, they're like one of my favorite foods. And I just remember like looking down at my plate, feeling like shit and being like, fuck this. Sorry. I curse a lot too. Sorry,
Oh,
moms.
that is fine on here.
Being like, fuck this. If I want to eat a sweet potato, I should be able to eat a sweet potato. It is a nutritious whole food with so many micronutrients and fiber, and it's not processed. It's a healthy food. And that's kind of when the switch in my mindset went off. And I was like, these diets aren't working. And I hate it. And that's kind of the moment, my sweet potato moment, where I was like, screw this. I'm going to do it the real sustainable way. And that's actually how I ended up losing my baby weight when I switched.
Gotcha. And now, just for reference, how long would you say it took to lose the baby weight with the more sustainable approach?
Once I actually switched and toned back my workouts, started strength training, and was fueling my body appropriately, I'd say, and I had probably lost about 20 pounds doing it the like yo-yo diet, unsustainable way. It would just always come back and it was really unenjoyable. So it probably took me about 9 months to lose that 50 pounds or so, but I actually looked better than I did pre-pregnancy. Like I had super great abs for the first time. I had muscle definition in my arms and my legs, and I was really happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, I like how you talked about how you toned down the workouts, which kind of, I know if somebody listening might be like, wait, she got abs for the first time and she feels amazing and she lost all this weight, but the workouts weren't that crazy. How the hell does that happen? And I know this is like a point that I make a lot with clients. It's like finding the right amount, not the most amount. Like, how did you come to grips being that you came from that place of like cardio and high intensity, like what really got you to buy in?
Well, one, I would say I started feeling better and seeing results. Like I'm a very upfront person and like aesthetics are what drive all of us originally in our health journey. So I actually started seeing results in a shorter amount of time when I stopped doing group fitness and started lifting weights to a program. Now because and like I still do like one group fitness class a week. I like that aspect of it. I won't do cardio really on my own. So I kind of use group fitness as my cardio or like, the excitement to my workouts because my lifting workouts are pretty much 8 weeks, 8 week mesocycles of pretty much the same boring moves. And my goal every week is to just like get a little bit stronger in that lift or challenge myself. Maybe I'll add tempo or another set. So I would say the main motivation in switching the workouts was definitely seeing the results. And then after I moved into seeing the results, it was just, I was getting super strong. Like I was getting strong. I was feeling great. Orange Theory, which was the group fitness I was doing because I was a coach there at the time,
Mhm.
was eating up my body. I would feel like crap and then I still wasn't getting results. So it was a great switch up for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. And I also love how you mentioned that your mesos are 8 weeks, because that's another thing that seems to be getting lost in all of the flashy side of social media and all that stuff. Like I know personally we do 6 weeks and people are like, is it time yet for the next one? And it's like sometimes you got to embrace the boring stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. So like we do like 1 week, which is like the acclimation week where you're not setting any rep like goals or anything, and you're just like getting through the movements and seeing how the days are gonna work. And
Mhm.
then we do the week at the end, between the next meso is our deload week. So you're like back to like really low weight and higher reps. And then we jump into the next one. Because I think a lot of women don't really give their body the recovery time. And especially when you get into strength training, and it's really funny because I'm like a women's hormone specialist and I don't believe in lifting to your cycle. I don't think that's a real thing. Like your performance isn't better. It's just you don't give yourself enough rest or add in a deload week. So that kind of affects your lifts and it sometimes pairs with your cycle, if that makes sense. That's one of my things whenever my athletes or other ladies ask me about that. They're like, oh, well, I saw this reel. Should I be lifting to my cycle? And I'm like, well, personally, no, you just need to make sure you're having a deload week.
Yeah. Well, it kind of gets into that whole topic of like feelings and feedback aren't always lined up, because like there's some days you go into the gym and you're like, I feel like crap. And then you set a PR and you're like, that's a
Mm-hmm.
little weird. And then not to mention, like for adherence, I don't know if you guys do this at all, but I know sometimes adherence can be improved when you increase the amount of calories and especially carbs during that time. And then when you're carb loaded, that's prime time for training.
Yep. Yeah. And we add calories and carbs during your cycle because every lady on the planet knows you want more food, especially for me. It's really leading up to my cycle, like right before it. I am starving. And so because we serve women, I was like, everybody else feels this way. So why wouldn't we start using that? But because you're eating more, like you said, you can lift heavier. So that's when I'm like, but don't give in to the I should take it easy and just be walking and doing yoga this week. Some of my PRs have been midstream. We'll just say that.
Love it. Love it. There is honestly, this is why I love training moms, because there's no bullshit. It's like, this is how I'm feeling. This is what happened, what's happening. Like, get over
Yeah, exactly.
it. Very straight approach. Love it. Love it. And now, when you said that you do that one group class per week, like what do you gravitate towards? Because I know that you said Orange Theory kind of left you feeling a little drained, and people listening are probably just like, so which one should I do?
Yeah, so I'm blessed. I live in Charleston, South Carolina. There are so many different gyms here, and if you're ever visiting in this area, go to Ethos. That's where I go. My friend Joey actually owns it, but it's a really great balance. So they have like the weight room, they have yoga classes, but then they have what they call Rush. I would say it's strength and conditioning. So they
Mhm.
have like treads, ski ergs, bikes, and rowers, but you don't use them all every class. You don't know what one you're going to use every class. They kind of throw them in. And then you rotate through blocks that usually have 2 to 3 strength moves and one type of conditioning move. But then sometimes it's cardio equipment free days, which your heart rate still gets up. But it's like a hour-long class. You do a warm-up, you cycle through, do a finisher. Some people say it's kind of like CrossFit, but it's not because it's not so short and insane. But that's what I like to do. I mean, I have friends that still do Orange Theory. Obviously, they've done it for forever. And, Orange Theory, I guess, is changing some things. There's the strength classes. And like, just honestly, for your group fitness, I always tell people, like, do what you enjoy. Like, if you like to do spin, like I used to be a 5 a.m. spin girl in college. I totally get it. Like, do that, but don't have that be the primary source of your fitness. Like, cardio is for fun. That's the excitement. And then you should have like a 3 to 4 day minimum, like lifting cycle that you're following, that's where you're banking on getting your results.
Yep, exactly. So using the group classes more so as like an adherence tool rather than this is how I burn the fat because I'm sweating so much.
Oh yeah, no, I don't even, and people think I'm crazy because like I don't like pay attention to I'm just there having a coach tell me what to do. Like I work hard in it, but I'm not going to like try to PR on the weights in there because I PR on the weight floor later when I can rest and things like that. So
Yeah. And I love that you brought that up because, like, I know for the past, what is it, going on 3 months now, I've dove into CrossFit to just kind of see what it's all about.
yeah.
And one of the things that you can get caught up in is the like coach saying, push it heavier, harder, more. And it kind of takes that awareness on the client's end to be like, this is supplemental. It's not the main course. And I think that's what's missing with a lot of programs or a lot of group classes because the clients feel weird speaking up. But I think that they do kind of have to get into the habit of having that communication.
Yeah. Yeah. And like just being like, I think the more you work out, I kind of call it, we have like it's called the tricycle theory in my group. But it's about evolution, right? Like we all start on like a bike with training wheels. And then you eventually like move up and you have like a beach cruiser bike. Then you move up and you have like a bike with gears. And then you have like mountain biking. I kind of relate that to people's journey in fitness and nutrition. Like in the beginning of my fitness and nutrition journey, like I had crazy training wheels. You know what I mean? Like I was using a bunch of supplements to hit my macros. I was using group fitness. And then I evolved a little bit and cut back on using as many supplements and as much group fitness. Then I evolved more and became a coach and did all that. But like you have to evolve. Like how ridiculous would it be if you were like a 40-year-old who was still on a bike with training wheels? It would look ridiculous. And that's kind of what I try to tell some of my clients who have been doing group fitness for like 6 years. It's like, well, what do you want out of this? And if they're saying they want results and they still haven't gotten it, it's because they haven't evolved past it. So that's a big mindset thing that we talk about.
Yeah, it's interesting how people fall into the routine and looking back on it, it takes one of us as coaches to be like, so how's that serving you? But you can go years without thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I always tell people like because they're like, I like group fitness because it's social. I like having someone tell me what to do. It's like, well, you can find small group personal training and then evolve after that to just personal training and then evolve after that to just following a program. So there's crutches at every level. It's just if you're looking for the excuse, you're going to find the excuse why you should keep doing it. So I always just like to check in and make sure their excuses are serving them. And if they're not, which they probably aren't because they're talking to me, it's time to change some things.
Yep. Yep. And that's actually a topic I wanted to touch on because I know coming from a 30-year-old dude that doesn't have kids, there's some things that I'm like, listen, I'm just not the messenger. But this is why I love having moms on. Did you ever find yourself falling into those common parent excuses where it's like, well, I got this going on, I got that going on, I just don't have enough time for myself?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that I am probably on the outside spectrum of this because I was so unhappy with where my body was after having Rowan, and I had never been that big and never felt like that it was affecting me so much that my husband, who's so super supportive and he's a coach as well, was like, we will make a schedule that works for you. And we actually don't even have family close by. So I know a lot of people use that excuse. And we still made it work with baby swapping. And our gym didn't have childcare. So you can make it work.
Wait, what's baby swapping?
So that would be like literally I would go work out in the morning. He would meet me in the lobby of the gym.
Oh,
I would take the baby and then he would go into workout. Or
that's
the part,
awesome.
yeah.
I thought you were talking about like with friends. It's like,
Oh,
well,
no,
I
I
work out Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So
I have a group of ladies in that are neighbors and they're also doing nutrition coaching with me and they actually do that to manage it. So there are a ton of tools. Also finding like here in Charleston, there are like hourly daycare drop-offs. But back to the question, like there are so many parent mindset traps that you can fall into. And now like my daughter's 5 now. And we could still fall into it. And one of the common ones that I think comes up a lot is like, oh, well, my child has this event or this event or this event on the weekends. And it's like, well, who's signing them up for this stuff? who's scheduling these events? And this is something, and we're very laid back, but I had a talk with Rowan a long time ago, and she's in her second, she did 4K, and then she's in kindergarten this year, and she hates school. She hates it. Monday through Friday is such a fight. She wants to sleep in. We get her to bed early. She still doesn't like it. She asks to stay home. She hates being rushed in the mornings. She gets it from me. I hate being rushed in the mornings.
I was
And
going to ask, where does that come from? Which side?
100% me. I am a slow morning type girl. Like, I like to wake up, eat breakfast, hang out, read a little bit, do my thing. And she definitely got that from me, because my husband, Corey, her dad, is just like grind and go. And I'm like, oh, you're so chaotic in the morning. But so I talked to her and I was like, on the weekends, what would you like to do? And you can have conversations with your kids. And she's just like, I just like to hang out for a little while. So she likes to have slow mornings, because during the week she is rushed. So on the weekends, Corey and I can easily swap in and go get up a little bit early, get our workouts in. Then by like 10:30, Rowan's like, we're also blessed. Rowan usually sleeps in till like 8, which some parents don't get. But then we're able to, go have our family day. Now, Corey and I always take Sundays as our rest day, as one of our rest days. We take 2 a week. So we do one during the week and we do Sundays. So Sundays are the day where we can like get up early and go to the beach or do whatever, and you don't have any of that parent guilt. But something that I always really try to remind all my moms that come with me, and they're like, I just feel so guilty if I'm not with my kids on the weekend. It's like, okay, well, I know I hardly remember anything from 8 and under. I don't remember what I did when I woke up on the weekends from 8 and under. But you know what I do remember? If my mom was at my wedding, if my mom can pick up my kid, if my mom will meet my daughter's kids. Like, those are things that you remember when they're older. So if you're not going to put your health a priority now, and like, yeah, it starts out with vanity stuff, but the top 5 chronic diseases in the United States are all obesity is a contributing factor. So it might start as vanity now, and you might be like, oh, well, it's not that important because I just want to lose 20 pounds. But it is important, because by the time you're 50, do you know how hard it is to lose 20 pounds? And by then you've gained more weight. And so it just starts becoming less about what you look like now and more about how long you're going to be able to be here and functioning and in your child's life. And I promise you, they're not going to care if on Saturdays they get to have a slow morning and watch cartoons while you and your husband swap out for the gym.
Now, I know this is like usually an hour-long podcast and you could doze off a little bit here and there, but that right there, if you heard nothing else, that was like the highlight, the 2-minute highlight, that I am so happy you said that, because that is a conversation that a lot of people just don't want to either have, or they just are not able to have that conversation. And it's very, very powerful. And I like how you talked about the kids in the conversation, like bringing it back to how you were having that talk with Rowan. And I think that a lot of times it's easy to not involve the kids, because you're like, when I was younger, I would have wanted this, or I think that they're going to like this. Let's expose them to that. But they don't really get a say in the matter, right?
Yeah. And like, I just know the way she acts Monday through Friday, why would I force her to get up to do something Saturday morning? Like, as she gets older, I'm sure it'll change a little bit, but that's when you start, when they're older, they have the drop off like activities like gymnastics. You don't have to sit in the lobby for their hour-long gymnastics. Go head across the street to a gym for 45 minutes and get a lift in. Like, it's just little things like that. Like, and I think parents will also, they forget that their kids can be active. So like, we go on like long family bike rides all the time. Our active lifestyle rubs off on Rowan. So like, we're constantly outside. So even if it's a day where, say, screw it, we wanted to go to the beach on Saturday, that's fine. Saturday evening, we're probably going to go for a long bike ride. We're going to be outside and walk our dogs. And like, Rowan's a part of all of that. And it's important that we start teaching our kids to embrace that active lifestyle, because they learn it from us. Like, I'm lucky, I go to like a private gym too here. So it's like a key card entry. So Rowan can come with me. The owners have known her since she was like 2 years old. So she'll come in there and she'll just be like, counting my reps now that she can count and stuff. And it's so awesome to expose her to these gym environments, because when she gets older, she'll associate them with being happy and like watching mom work out and like lift weights. And so that will remove the gym anxiety. And it's also laying the foundation for her to lift weights and realize that she doesn't just go to group fitness gyms. Like my mom didn't do that. Maybe I won't do that. So it's kind of all like leading by example. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in like the benefit of the kid, like, oh, I have to spend as much time with them, that you shortchange the time on the end and the actual quality of the time you're spending.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the quality is really what matters the most. You could be around and sitting on your butt and saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. But it's a totally different ball game when you can actually play with them.
Like I always tell my parents who tell me they don't have time to go to the gym because they're hanging out with their family, that's fine, but they're not allowed to have their phone.
Mm.
Like, that's totally cool. If that's the route we're going to go, like, show me your screen time report. And I want to make sure that these hours that you were hanging out with your family, there's no screen time activity on your phone, please. Because if not, you're not really hanging out with your family. You just don't feel like working out.
Yep. Wow. I'm 100% going to steal that. So any clients listening right now, get ready for those screen time reports.
Oh, I have like, and not everybody, but I have a list of clients who have to send me their screen time reports. Especially for the days they're like, nope, this are family days. And I'm like, all right, I better not see you scrolling that social media.
If only there was some way to get that live feedback and be like, Susie is on her phone on Instagram for the past 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness. My clients would officially hate me. They would cancel coaching. They'd be like, so I remember you said that you were going to be hanging out with your daughter, but it actually looks like you were on Facebook for 43 minutes.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And to bring it back to how you said, like, Rowan will count your reps and everything, I feel like that's awesome for everybody to hear, to, like, a way to get the kids involved, even if they aren't working out. Because I know some people are a little sketched out about their kids being active with the weights early, even though we know that we're smarter now and the growth plate thing doesn't really hold a lot of water if you're doing it smart. But like, that is definitely a great way to do it. And when she hits Spanish, you could, or French or German, you could be like, all right, count for me.
Yeah, she's learning Spanish right now, so she can get up to 10. We practice that, we rotate. And like, I honestly, like, I'll do a working set, but then like I'll do like warm-up sets, but then my working set is usually like 6 to 8 reps anyways. So she knows to count my working set in Spanish. So it's pretty fun. It's cute.
There you go.
But also, to get back to what you said, even as a strength and conditioning kind of coach person, I also don't necessarily believe in younger kids lifting weights. Like, I want her to see it and eventually get into it. But I think coming from an athletic background, she's going to do more of like athletic training through probably high school. She'll start to lift. But so I totally get that for moms, because it honestly kind of sketches me out, which is weird because I love lifting heavy. But she'll probably just do like things like box jumps and like power type movements until she's older. Yeah.
I remember when where I cut my teeth in the training space, we would train youth athletes and adults. So talk about a good business model. You get the kids and the adults. But what we would do, like, for anybody listening right now, that's like, what if I want to, like, what you could do is just set them up with really light weights and work on form. Because let's be honest, before they hit puberty, they're not really going to get a whole lot of benefit from it. Nope. So it's better off just solidifying that form. And then when they have that head start on everybody, when they hit puberty, their results and their strength and their muscle are going to shoot through the roof.
Yeah. And like, there's so much in athletic based power training for kids that is so beneficial, because, you know, it doesn't have any impact on joints and stuff like that. That you can like use resistance bands and just do like time speed stuff and stuff like that. And honestly, I think that tires out the kids a little bit faster anyways. So like, it's a double-edged sword there.
And I forget what country it was. I want to say it might've been Russia or one of those like Eastern Bloc places where Olympic weightlifting is really big. And they don't let them go past a certain weight, and they get judged on their form. So the way to win the competition is by doing it more properly than somebody else.
Yeah. And I think that's a perfect way to like introduce them into all of that. And I mean, like Rowan messes around and grabs like the 2 pound dumbbells and like tries to mimic what I'm doing. But like, you know, it's just, I think her just seeing it and then learning that eventually that's where she should be is just so awesome. And as a mom, it's like, I have so many people walk up to me when I'm there. Like the gym's smaller, so there's usually never more than like 10 people when I do bring Rowan because I know the busy times. But they'll like walk up and like be like, is it cool if I take a video? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Cause like Rowan will be like trying to do bicep curls with me and it's cute. So
Yeah. And honestly, that's probably the biggest benefit in all of this is that positive association. It's
yeah.
like mom does this, I want to do this. And
Yeah.
it's a big difference from that compared to moms doing this like body boot camp DVD and hating every minute of it and saying, I'm just doing this to burn body fat.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. I actually just made a big post about that a couple of days ago on National Daughters Day because I realized like growing up and like, you know, this is never to say someone's mom or female role models were bad, but nobody in my life ever that I can remember ever told me they liked their body. I like distinctly, like not my sisters, not my aunt, not my mom. I distinctly remember almost every woman at some point saying something negative about their body in front of me, whether that was like my mom saying that she was fat or that her tummy was soft, or my sister saying that she was working out to lose weight, or my aunt saying that they were chubby. I don't remember one positive remark ever. And I hardly remember them ever working out because they did more group fitness style stuff. So I could never go because most group fitness gyms don't have childcare. And if they do have childcare, you're in a completely different room. So they're not seeing it. So I don't remember them working out. And I remember them, you know, dieting and not eating certain things. And so I made this post that went over really well. And it was like, mamas, please like be the first person that your daughter hears say, I'm strong. I love my body. I feel so great. I'm eating this to nourish myself. And like, let her catch you looking in the mirror and actually smiling and liking what you see, not like looking in the mirror and like pinching your fat or something. Like they are always watching. Like the stuff that my daughter tells me, I'm like, when did you even see or hear us say that? That like me and Corey will be talking about is insane. So just like remembering that you have the power to completely form their life. And sometimes we know that, but we focus on things like, are they in swimming lessons? Are they playing this sport? Instead of just making sure that they know that you like your body and they like their body. Especially my daughter looks a lot like me. So we'll go out, we'll be like at random places and cute little old ladies will be like, she's a mini you. And she hears that and she gets so excited when she hears that. When someone says that she looks like me, like she lights up, which is great because soon in a couple of years when she's a teenager, she's probably going to hate me. But for now, it's great. And
Yeah, but
then
then when she's healthy and she's like in a good place, you could be like, you're welcome for the jeans.
yeah. But then, like, if she's hearing all this stuff, all these people telling her that she looks like me, how would she feel if then later at home she hears me say that I hate myself or that I'm fat or that I need to go on a diet or that I have a soft tummy? Right after she hears people say she looks like me, she's going to start thinking she looks like that. So that's always one of the big things I try to remind moms. Like, you got to do one, if you're not at a place where you like yourself, you better be faking it till you make it in front of your littles and like in conversations with your husband because they hear that stuff. And then two, get to a place where you like it and like teach them that, you know, you are strong and your body is great. So they feel that way.
Yeah. And it really does kind of get to the why of it all because a lot of times everything we do is very surface level. I just want to lose 10, 20 pounds, but why? I want to lift this much weight, but why? And when you do the digging, then you kind of, everything gets a little clearer.
Yeah, definitely.
So if somebody's hearing this right now and they're like, crap, I definitely do that in front of my kid, or like, I really want to change that about myself. Like, what would you tell them to do today to start moving in the right direction?
Yeah. So number one, I think mindset, and I actually used to be kind of anti-mindset. I didn't believe in all this like hokey stuff where like it will affect your results and stuff, but it does.
I'm,
So
I'm
number
with you.
yeah, I used to make fun of it, all of it. Like I was just like, yeah, okay, positive affirmations, whatever.
But
But
feedback, right? If it
yeah,
works, it works.
there peer-reviewed science, guys. There are peer-reviewed science on so many different aspects of mindset. From people just telling people they were eating one bar that was like going to help them lose weight and one bar that was just like kind of a candy bar. They were the same bar, same calories, same macros. The people who thought it was a bar to help them lose weight actually lost weight. Nothing else changed. Little studies like that. The mind is a crazy thing. So I would say number one, for sure, start with your mindset. It is all inside you. And I know I'm not a perfect mom. I don't think I'm a perfect mom. My goal is to have my daughter have the cheapest therapy bills out of all of my other friends' kids. So
That's a
I mean,
goal.
that's what I'm shooting for. I'm not shooting for perfect, but like I said, mindset, you've got to realize number one, your body did an amazing thing, especially if your mom bringing in a healthy child. I have a lot of friends who weren't able to have kids or, you know, things like that. And we forget that, we take it for granted. So making sure that you understand that your body has already accomplished some amazing things, especially if you're a parent, and fueling and funneling that energy from knowing your body is amazing to actually believing it and changing what you don't like. I am a huge person on the kind of mindset like, if you don't like your body, it is okay not to like your body. Like, totally fine. I was there. When I didn't like my body, it affected my entire life. So, you admitting that you don't like it, that's totally fine. But at the same time, you can't hate yourself to get the results you want. You can't just hate yourself to getting results. So, making sure that as you're changing, you're still grateful for what you can accomplish and noticing the little changes. Because sometimes we get so focused on things, we don't notice that we're getting stronger. We don't notice that we have more energy. We don't notice that our mindsets improve, that our relationship with our husband is getting better, things like that. So mindset would be the number one thing. And then number two, like I said, fake it till you make it. All right. If you realize that your daughter or children in general, sons, have only ever heard you talking down about yourself in conversation, plant the seeds that you're not doing that anymore. That just means, like, if you see your kid sitting on the couch and you have a mirror, just walk by that mirror and be like, I look good today. And then continue on your day. You might not believe it, but they're going to hear that. And then mindset will kind of help you start believing it too, to be honest. So
Yeah. And who knows, maybe your kid's going to chime in and be like, yeah, you do, mom. And then
really,
that reinforces it.
yeah, kids are so sweet. They're honest. But when, like, I feel like your own kids are so sweet. Like, I'll put on an outfit to go out and I'll be like, this looks okay. And she'll be like, Mommy, you look like a princess. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Let's do this. Like, so kids are awesome. And they just need you to set the example to how they should be talking about you, about other people, and about themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Just leading by example. And I'm not going to lie. I am loving this conversation. Like, this has been going in such a good direction. I know everybody's going to get so much out of it. We pretty much ran through every single thing I wanted to ask you, and you did an incredible job laying it all out there. But I can't let you off the hook without asking the number one question that I ask every single guest to wrap it up.
Okay.
Now, this tells us a lot. So brace yourself.
Bracing.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. What's your favorite movie and why?
Oh, you know what? You're gonna super judge me.
I love
I
the preface.
I hate TV, so I'll just start with that. I am such a book nerd. I am such a book nerd, and people are probably like, yeah, you're a book nerd. Literally, I didn't have a TV from in my college apartment until my husband, at the time he was just my boyfriend, moved in with me, and he was like, you don't have a TV. So movie wise, God, and now we watch like kid movies. So like I really don't have one, to be honest. I TV wise, so I do watch series sometimes.
That
Um
works.
yeah, Yellowstone. I literally was so upset when it ended. I loved everything about Yellowstone, got way into that, which is probably a generic answer, but that's what we'll just say, Yellowstone, and then hopefully it'll come back. So
Nice. That's one of those that I just keep hearing everybody talking about. I just have not made my way to it.
so it's really sad because it like disappeared. I don't know why. But start from the beginning, you'll like it a lot. And this is from someone who usually will like scroll on my phone or answer clients when my husband's trying to like relax and watch TV with me. And I actually made it a point to watch Yellowstone. So
All right. Well, now I feel like I have to, even though I feel like I'm going to get the same result as when Mindhunter ended, when it's like, wait, what? No, we need more.
yeah. And then they did like the like prequels and stuff. So you get a little bit more. 1883 was really good. But yeah, that's like my answers. But if you want like my honest movie that I would like put on at any time, it's Sing 2, and it's a kids movie, but it is fantastic.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I
That's
tried
like,
putting I tried putting on Sing 1 this past weekend because me and my girlfriend were on a Disney kick watching like Coco, getting ready for Halloween and stuff. And I'm like, Sing would be good. And she's like, all right, we can't go that far.
yeah, no, put on Sing 2. It's really good. But yeah, that's my lame answer to your question.
Hey, that is a good answer. I like when it goes a different direction sometimes. So that's really good. All right. Well, I want to respect your time and I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show. Now, anybody listening, I know that all the stuff that we have just talked about, like somebody in your life probably needs to hear this. So, you have that one person in your head, go ahead and send them this podcast right now. Okay. Just no words, just send it their way. Okay. Now, if you're listening and you want to see more of what Cam's putting out and you want to see more of her content, Cam, where can they find you?
All the places. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, but I feel like the oldest lady in the world on TikTok, so I'm not there often. Um,
Oh,
so
come on over. It's a fun time.
um, but on Instagram, which is probably like my number one place to like reels and funny stuff, is Camb904. But if Facebook is where I kind of do more of like my long form posts and get into more mindset and tips and stuff. And that's Cam Michelle Brown.
Awesome. Awesome. And if you guys want to take a screenshot and tag us both, we'd love to hear from you and see how you like the podcast. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. So thank you, Cam, again for popping on, and hope everybody has an amazing rest of their week. I'll see you same time, same place next week. Later, guys.